What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to float an object inside DaVinci Resolve. Let's get into it. Hey, if you guys are new here, my name is Josh Haynes, freelance filmmaker, and I bring out weekly videos helping you guys grow as creators. So if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and tagging along. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to float an object using DaVinci Resolve. It's a really cool effect, and depending on what you use it for, it could really elevate your video. No pun intended, I guess. All the dad jokes aside, let's go ahead and jump inside DaVinci Resolve and we'll go from there. So you can see I've got a multitude of different clips. I wanted to get different angles, different looks, different heights, a whole bunch of different things, basically for the purpose of this tutorial. Ideally, anytime you're going to be doing an effect in post, you should kind of know that before you shoot something. I understand there's many a times that you're going to do a mass transition and a whole bunch of different effects that really you just kind of think up in post, but with some of these, you're going to get a way better result actually shooting with the intention that you're going to be doing some post work to it. So let's find a video clip we like. I think this one will work just fine right here. I kind of just did a lock off. It's obviously going to look way better if you do handheld because it kind of pushes that floating, aspect to it. You definitely could add camera shake to it, but I would wait till the very end to do that so it doesn't mess up your keyframes and make your job harder. So we're going to drag our clip into our editor, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to hop inside the Fusion tab. Once we're inside the Fusion tab, I'm going to expand that to make it a lot easier to see, and I'm going to kind of scroll up so I can have the yarn going out of the frame. I would definitely recommend using fishing wire over some yarn or string. I just had this laying around the house. I found it. My wife had used it from an art project. She didn't need it anymore, and I was like, I'm going to steal that and I'm going to use it. I will say it's a lot easier tracking because it's pink, but it is definitely a lot harder to remove than just a thin fishing wire. So with the media tab 1 selected, we're going to hit shift spacebar and we are going to look for a paint node. We're going to hit enter, add that to our media right there. We're going to hit the cursor tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit a line right here and right there. Now I know what you're thinking, you took the yarn out, but there is a massive white line coming on top of it, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the size just a little bit smaller. We don't need it quite that big. I might move it just a little bit to kind of straighten it up a bit, maybe turn the softness up a little bit more. And then right here under the apply controls, we're going to hit this little wire tool right here that is wire removal. This is a tool that's intended to take wires out for when you're doing post work. Maybe when you have stunt doubles needing wire work or someone's floating, like in the Star Wars films, they have a lot of wire work and that kind of stuff. This is basically the same concept. It's just kind of dumbed down a little bit more in this little step right here. What we're going to do is we're going to hit that, boom, it takes it right out. The only thing we need to do is we need to adjust it a little bit. It's kind of having some yarn sticking through there. Maybe drag that up just a little bit. Click off of that. We can click back on it. Maybe move it over a little bit more. Click off of it again. And you can see we got it peaking a little bit right there. You're basically just moving, adjusting, fine-tuning. Now, if you're having a really hard time figuring it out, you can go here to the apply controls underneath here and you can mess with the distance, and it's going to start moving stuff around from the actual frame of your video. You can also mess with the angle. We'll just soften that up just a little bit less. Click off of it one more time. And actually, if you weren't looking for that, it actually looks pretty dang good. Now, the only downside to doing this is you're gonna have to go frame by frame and really keyframe this along. The best way to do it is click on the paint node again, go here to the stroke controls. We're gonna right click on that and we're gonna hit animate, making sure we're at the beginning before we hit animate. We're gonna go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we would move it if our camera was moving. My frame isn't moving because I took the easy route and just had a lock off just for the tutorial, but if you do have it moving, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go over a couple frames, adjust things. Go over a couple more frames, adjust things. And as long as you have that set to animate, it's going to basically be recording everything you're doing. Then you can play it back and it's going to have all those keyframes already in there. The last thing you need to know is if you need to move multiple wires out of there, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the paint node again. You're going to hit shift spacebar and we're going to add another paint node. And this one, we can do the exact same thing. Click the cursor right here, hit the wire, tweak with it a little bit, and that's going to start moving the other wire out. You can do this with multiple wires. The only thing is, again, if you have your camera moving, you're going to have to animate every node that you have that's taking something out. So it is very time consuming. The only other thing you could do is do object removal. I'm really not going to dive into that today. I did a video on it. I'll link it up here. Go check it out. That is another method that you could do, because some of these you may have a hard time and it's just not going to be able to take it quite out the way you like it, or you're just having a hard time. Maybe you can get 2 wires out, but there's one that's just being stubborn. You can't quite figure it out. Maybe object removal will do a way better job than doing it inside of this. So I would check that video out if you have not already seen that one. But that's basically it today, guys. I just wanted to show you a really cool effect that you can apply towards things. This will work really well, especially if you're doing like stop motion stuff and you have like tools and wires coming off of it, stands and stuff. The object removal would work really well for that. So definitely check that video out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment below on some new tutorials you want to see coming out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already with the bell notification on so you don't miss any of my new videos. You guys are amazing. I'm the Iron Giant. I'm out. Peace.